what areas you needed to nurture more of yourself, whether it's family, whether it's health, whether it is um, the authenticity of who you are. Because this year also revealed the people that are around us and nurturing relationships that are around us. Where's the reciprocation? How are things coming, in its give and take, receive, you know, give type energy. So I'm curious. Who experienced some things with this year seven?
Well, I'm gonna just say this year for me has definitely been an educating year, especially when dealing with myself. Recently, I've just went through an appendectomy where my appendix ruptured in two different places, and it was sudden, but it wasn't so sudden because I've actually had some soreness in my on my stomach on the right side for maybe a month or so, and I kind of just dealt with the pain. And I know men, a lot of my buddies, and not just myself, we kind of grew up with that. It don't hurt, shut up. So we kind of internalized that to a fault. So it's like, okay, it don't hurt, and then I'm thinking about, okay, I got to get to work. I can't take days off, things of
Mm-hmm.
that nature, which uh, uh, eventually my appendix just like, nah, dude, you got to sit it down. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I waited to the point to where the doctor told me, I might have been hours away from, it going to the next level. And and prior to that, just as far as my physical health, I was in an accident some months back, a
Mm-hmm.
situation that I could have avoided by just acknowledging what I'm doing with myself and where I'm at in life, and it was another lesson,
Mm-hmm.
a real lesson, and then my third was, through maybe one or two of my friendships became estranged. Sometimes people grow apart and don't know how to
Mm-hmm.
communicate on a different level when you've been, having a low vibrating type of relationship and you didn't even know it. A lot of times we
Mm-hmm.
thrive in places that's not healthy. At least we think we thrive in. So
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like, or it feels like it making sense, but eventually it's just really doing damage, not just to you, but to the relationship with you and this person. You know what I mean? So I've just gone through some things. But those are the three big ones for me. Personal, physically, and my health. So when you say this year was the year of wisdom, I had to walk through all that knowledge. You know what I mean, to make it make sense for myself. So I definitely understand it.
Well, you are in alignment, and that's a beautiful thing because some people did ignore the signs and symbols, and sometimes certain drastic things happen to get your attention because you have a bigger purpose and you are here. And
Right.
so, with all of that wisdom and knowledge that you gained this year and that introspection, it's preparing you for the year eight that we're going into. This year eight is really about the achiever. It's really about one that has a good business sense. It is one that is bringing balance as well. Because if you even think of an eight and you turn it, it's the infinite symbol.
Mm.
So it's all about goals and achievements, and also judging what you don't want to deal with anymore. It's the judger. It's the one that's the businessman. So you got to put your work cap on this year. We all do, and really utilize the stuff that we learned this year in going introspective. What is it that we are doing to live in our authenticity? How can we be prosperous? Because the eight is also about money and bringing in money and finance and currency. Because again, money or fiat currency is not the only currency out there. We have to look at other ways currency is in our community, not being so materialistic. How can we be goal oriented or authoritative in our life, taking control of our lives and being strong, dedicated to our purpose? Because again, there's going to be a lot of things, shifts and changes in 2025 after the 2024 election. So how are we going to come together as a community with those that were authentic, those that are in alignment with what you're doing? Because you find that a lot of your friends aren't growing in the capacity that you are growing, and some that may have been starting on that path, and they may be going to another path. It's all about emotional intelligence. We learned a lot about that this year.
Yes.
Emotional intelligence, so how are you going to be self-preserving this year, self-loving to yourself this year, and not put yourself in situations, whether health, this food, there's lots of more reports coming out about this fast food, and it's not really beef that we eating, and it's all these other different things. How can we get back to the resources? Us connecting with our farmers and local farmers versus it being ran by a higher power. That's authoritative. How are they going to use their authority on us sovereign beings? So we're going to have to be really in tune with our intuition, knowing what we learned in the last 7 years, because a lot has happened in the last 7 years. If we go back to even 2016 leading up to 2020. 2020 was the awakening for a lot of people. It was a new foundation, a new earth that's being set. A lot of people think, oh, we about to beam up like Scotty, be like Star Trek. But at the same time, when we do cross over into that invisible realm, don't we want to be at our best? Or do we just be like, oh, shoot, well, Jesus Christ died on the cross and laid his sins out so we could sin as much and ignore what our spirit is telling us. Our spirit may be telling us to kick back on certain beefs and porks and whatever we eat and come back more to nature, because rainforest it's all of these different things that are happening globally, and we have to be better judges of our own individual rights so we could be better in the community. So that's the energy of the universal 8.
Wow.
That sounds heavy, but we got to even think of what this election and everything's been happening the last 3 months. The last 3 months of this year are a preview of what is going to take place next year. So it gave you a preview of what you should focus on, what you should be working on in this year 8 to become your strongest spirit. Because again, we're not the body and we're not even our mind. All right.
Can you talk to, just for those who just came on, can you talk to how you come up with this being year 7 and now we're going into year 8?
Thank you for that. I did notice that. So it is a year 7 because of the 2023. When you add the 2 plus the 2 plus the 3, you have a 7. And so that is the universal energy on the Gregorian calendar. So as I was sharing, it had a lot to do with introspection, nurturing your health, spirituality, and a lot of friendships, aligning your authenticity, aligning with your tribe and finding your tribe. That was the energy of this year. Because yes, next year is the year of judgment. It's the year of judging and moving according to what wisdom that you have gained in this year. And you're going to continue gaining because we're constantly growing. But it's a year where you can bring balance to the culmination of everything that you learned. And again, I got that by adding the 2 plus the 2 plus the 4 because we're going into 2024. And so in that energy, again, how are you going to come out of your loop and become infinite in your wisdom and your knowledge and walk in your authenticity and continue to learn and have self-preservation and self-love to get a better understanding of you as a spiritual being in this physical body? Like, okay, well, I got this body. I didn't come back as an ant. I came back as a human being. So what is the properties of my brain? We don't go back to those. What are the properties of my organs? How often do we thank our organs? So it's a year of gratitude. It's a year of really just coming into balance with nature. Nature is doing what nature's doing. Human beings, we got a brain. We don't really follow nature. We follow what our ego wants most of the time. And so it's going to be a year of balancing our ego and spirit coming next year. And so again, this last 3 months from October to now, what have you experienced? And so what I can assist with and help, and if there's anybody want to give their birthday, we can see what it personally means to you, but that was the universal. So you have to look at the universal and how your personal is going to tie into that universal. For example, I'm going into a personal year 4. So me, for a personal year 4 to go into a year of balance, I got a lot of work to do. I'm gonna be working. That's laying a foundation. That's coming around the square. That's coming around the 4 directions. So I'm there. But how does that play out? I have to make sure I self-preserve in that with work. I got to make sure I remember to self-nurture and have the balance in all of those things as I lay my foundation. I can't be thinking about everybody else right now. I have to think about my foundation.
Okay.
So
okay, let me let you get me out the way so the guys can know what you're about to do.
all I need is your birthday and birth month. I don't need the year.
Okay, 7/7.
7/7. So you are going into a master year 22. That's a 14 plus the 8. Correct?
Yes.
So you're going into a year 4 like me, but you are mastering your foundation this coming year. So your health, all of that, going back to what that was and what you felt like when you did that. That was the beginning of the foundation that you're setting. It's also about relating. How are you going to relate? Because 2s are about relations. So you really want to make sure that you focus on how are you relating in your relationships? How can you build new relationships and learn more and gather more information and master your foundation?
Okay.
And bring the balance to your foundation. So networking, all of that will be good for you this coming year as well. But your health, of course, you got to take care of that. Get that foundation. That's your first foundation, and then move into the foundation of your business. Because again, it's a year about being the boss.
Okay. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
You're going live right now. I'm also going live on Facebook. So my folks are sending me their numbers, but I know my guys in the panel was eager.
Okay. So is there anyone? I see Holiday, you unmuted. You want to share your birthday and birth month?
Uh-oh, he froze. I think his birthday just passed too. It was yesterday?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yesterday, the 26th. Happy belated birthday.
Thank you.
Happy B-Day, Holiday.
Welcome.
Right on. Appreciate you.
So you have that day 8, month 3. So that's an 11 plus a year 8. You're going into a 19-1. 19-1 is considered to be a karmic number. That's my life path, so I can tell you a little bit about it. It's really about you being a leader. Don't be a delegate. Don't be a dictator, but be a delegator next year. Stop trying to do everything by yourself. You're a leader, so you have to ask for help. Ask for your community to assist you in whatever business that you're going to do. But whatever you did not end this year, because you went through a lot of shifts and changes and endings this year. So whatever.
For real.
You went through a lot of that. So
I really did.
You're going to have a few remnants of that for the next year going into 2025. But it's really about you it's like you're coming out of the womb again. It's a fresh new start. So you got to look at how is this next 9 years going to be for you. Just look back 9 years ago, 18 years ago, and 27 years ago. How are you going to do it differently?
Okay.
Just make sure you delegate. Don't try to do it all. You're gonna stress yourself out, and then you're gonna be repeating a cycle of being a dictator. So you don't want to dictate.
Got you. Appreciate it.
You a boss, but you want to be mindful of your communication and how you deliver your in your words.
Okay.
All right.
That'll work. Yes, ma'am.
All right.
I appreciate that.
Likewise, I hope that worked out for you and aligned with some things that you know to be true.
Yes, ma'am.
Nashe. All right. I think you said Frank or someone. I see Larry's unmuted.
Yeah, I'll go. My birthday is 0827.
827.
Mm-hmm.
So you are a day 9. And you're going into a you're going into a year that's all about spirituality. If I'm not mistaken, I'm doing the numbers. I said 9. You said 827?
Yes, 827.
You're going into a year of spirituality. So your spiritual journey is continuing into next year. It's a personal year 7 for you. So whatever you learn this year, whatever you take care of your health, It's kind of like whatever you got a word on this year about your health. If you didn't get a checkup this year, definitely get a checkup next year. definitely take a moment of introspection, but don't put boxing gloves on when you have that introspection. Because some people go deep.
Set up a date with me, man. They can put my name if they really ready to work and they want to get off them streets. I can get them off the streets, but I can't put my name behind a motherfucker gonna fuck it up because it's gonna hurt the other people.
Yeah, it's a due process to that
Yeah,
before they even get to
yeah.
you. It's the
That's
mass
why. Yeah,
screening.
it got. But when it get to me, it's got to be a sit down with me, because
Yeah,
it work. Y'all know where I came from to get to where I got to. It wasn't an easy task, and it ain't easy to maintain.
yeah, for sure, for sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you, guys.
man. We brother Darren. Okay, we finally we got you. I'm glad you was able to
Yeah.
make it on, man. And this is our time on Wednesdays. And we usually have a theme and a topic, and you've come on your first time on. You've been graced with the great Iya and her knowledge of self and how to connect numbers to who we are, why we even exist. Without numbers, I guess none of this would make sense. So, they say the numbers never lie. That's deeper than it